Welcome in, everyone. Hope you had a great week. How was your week?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Productive week.
Excellent. Good to hear. We've got a lot to talk about. I'll start over here. First of all, we've got the giveaways from earlier episodes. So we're going to give away the judge tonight. We'll tell who the winner is, the glitch. And then the escape is still up for grabs. So be sure and look for us on Instagram. Attention deficit disorder, attention _ deficit _ and disc order. And you'll find us on Instagram, and that's where we'll have you can sign up and win those discs.
All our future giveaways as well.
All future giveaways as well.
We've got a pretty big giveaway at the end of this episode, which is pretty special.
Yeah, it is. Because these discs that you're giving away are not even released yet.
Correct.
But they're releasing on Friday.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more.
Which is when I'll be shipping it out, hopefully, but we'll see how much engagement we get.
Yeah, okay. And then where we left off on the last episode was with wanting to talk about some of these new lightweight discs that are coming into the market. And I'm excited. You got a stack of them in front of you, so I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, we plucked out some of the lighter weight discs in the store. It's really, really important to have lightweight discs. Every year we get older, we need to go a couple grams lighter. Lightweight discs go farther, but they require more control. So ultimately, it's going to show you what's wrong with your game, which a lot of people don't like, but it's necessary, right? It's going to hurt, but we need to figure out what's wrong with our game to improve. And you can throw these farther with less effort. So it will really hone in your form to focus in on some of these lightweight discs. They do make lightweight discs in every single shape and mold, just about. Some companies are producing a lot more than others. Right on the top here, just because I was on the Trilogy wall, we have an Escape, a Renegade, and a Bolt, all in the Lucid Air and Opto Air plastics. It's basically the same stuff. It's decently tacky. It's not super flexy. It's on the stiffer side of this stuff, which makes for really good rollers. So when it hits the ground, it doesn't just flop or bend. It kind of sticks and hits the line that you put it on.
That's a great point.
It's important. They do kind of like to focus on understable discs for lightweight stuff, although it is good to have the overstables as well. I've got a Destroyer right here. It's a 139 gram. And I'll tell you, one of the most overstable Destroyers I've ever thrown was a 129 gram disc. Never would I have ever thought a 129 gram Destroyer would handle all the torque I had to give it and fade harder than any Destroyer I had ever thrown. It was a really cool, unique thing. So even for you veteran arms out there that think you need 175 gram everything, give some lightweights a shot. See what it does for your arm.
You know what's interesting? If you don't mind me.
No, jump in.
Two sensing it. Do you feel like if you throw in distance drivers something light like that it should carry through in terms of lightweight into your fairway drivers, lightweight into your mids, lightweight into...
Not always, because lightweight down in the mid-range and putter range can get really, really flimsy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it in the putters, and I wouldn't want it in mids.
Well, Glitch is one of the most popular discs on the market right now, and they're only 155 and below.
Great point.
And it's because it's a disc that shows you what's wrong with your game.
And you can torque it,
catch with it. Yeah, and I guess it handles torque. I've never thrown one, but...
Well, you see...
Simon's throwing them quite a lot.
Simon and Drew Gibson, he's always doing stuff with that glitch.
I didn't know Drew was doing stuff.
Yeah, because of the infinite, I think, relationship. He can throw...
Oh, yeah, open bag.
Open bag.
Good for him.
Yeah. So when he's not throwing a finish line type of thing, that's what he's usually putting out there. I just saw something the other day, him and Bonanza played 9 holes with the glitch, because I think Bonanza was known for being a good player with that particular disc.
Yeah.
And... Anyway, but what's interesting, when I've gone out in the field now with these discs, and my release point was something that's 165 or 170, I find that with the lighter disc, my release point wants to be over here.
Right.
It wants to hold on a little longer before it actually lets go.
Well, it's not ripping out of your hand,
It's not ripping out of the hand.
Yeah.
So how do you make...
Well, that's where you got to focus in on your snap, right? And really snap the disc, not let the disc snap for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that a flaw in my game then?
Yeah.
I can take it.
Yeah.
No, but that's great. That it points it out immediately that I'm not giving it that where it needs to go.
Yeah, then you lack direction, right? Or your timing might be good with the heavier discs.
100% with lighter, exactly. With the lighter ones, it wants to go right.
Yeah, releasing late, right?
It releases
Almost
late.
like grip locking it.
That's just my form.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I even switched down to just more of a fan grip type of thing just to see if it would come out. And that helped.
Sure.
But that doesn't solve my problem. I don't want to carry that through in my game. Talk about finesse.
Yeah.
You're getting way too into inconsistencies with that type of stuff, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's fun to try. It's fun to, you know.
Right, but as you develop,
not under pressure.
Sure, tournament play, right?
It ain't gonna work.
Time to perform.
No.
Well,
so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Well, with finesse, you have to have finesse to throw one of these. If you don't have any of that clean form or control in your game, you're going to hate lightweight discs.
Yeah.
So if you want to figure out how to throw properly, get some lightweight discs, man, and really find what angles and what release points and your snap actually do for a lightweight disc.
Right.
Your game will elevate substantially. And the reason why the Innova stack is so tall here compared to the other two that I have, we probably have some lightweight MVP stuff that I missed, but Innova is doing a spectacular job at producing the lightweight stuff.
They see the market.
And they listen to their customers.
Right.
And they're giving them what they want.
I mean, this Corvette, I have thrown this Corvette, and by the way,
yes,
it's phenomenal.
Good.
It's phenomenal.
What a dream.
Yes, normally something that 14 speed with that diameter, that's a lot in the hands if it's a heavier gram disc.
And it's harder to get spin on, too.
It doesn't feel that way with the lighter one.
Beautiful.
It actually, I forgot to tell you that. This thing flies. At a lighter, I could never throw this at a 170, but at a 140, yeah.
Usable.
Yes. This is 350 plus with my 55 mile an hour arm speed.
Magnificent.
Yeah. Easy.
Well, and it's one of the more usable 14 speeds in the market. A lot of players have a hard time with the 14 speed.
Well, for good reason.
Yes, because it's huge.
Right.
It's like holding a pistol in your hand.
But it almost, you know, with that domey look on it and that lighter weight, but it really feels so good in my hand, even with that bigger diameter. It's less intimidating at this weight than it is with that heavier weight, because I feel like it requires so much of a better form than I can give it at this.
You got to pump that thing.
Right. You know, it's a Garrett Girthy
yes.
move.
Right. Well,
so
check this thing out, 133 gram Wraith. What a dream.
And that is such a popular disc.
Oh, yeah. One of the most popular distance drivers ever made, arguably.
A 133 Wraith.
An absolute featherweight. Holding it in your hand is like when you pick something up and you expect it to be heavy, like picking up a water jug and it's empty when you thought it was full, you go like this. That's what it feels like holding this disc. It's a
great analogy.
Feels like it wants to float.
Yeah. So to your point, if you get that snap in there, sayonara. Things going.
Yeah, if you have a tailwind, forget about it. If you need to break 400 feet, that's a good disc to do it with.
Yeah.
A 134 gram turn would be another option. Domier. This one's a lot gummier than this Wraith. This Wraith is stiff, which is really impressive. Have a lightweight, stiff disc. And then the last one here was the lightest Wave I had in stock. It's a 148 gram Fission Wave. The Wave is a very, very popular disc, and I feel like it was pretty underrated up until MVP started getting really, really popular in the last year and a half, and then people started delving more into their stuff. Like, what do I need? What do I replace my understable Wraith with? This is it.
Yeah.
So this is a go-to for a lot of players, especially in that 11 speed. We talked about 11 speeds and how important it is to.
The Maya and that, to me, are almost mirror images of each other.
That's well, right, and that's kind of what I've always said the Maya is an understable Wraith, or like a beat up Wraith. So out of the box, it's a bomber.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wave is a great disc. MVP's killing it.
Everything they're making is a home run. All their new stuff. And providing lightweights. They have a lot of lightweight stuff in the Crave, Insanity, Waves, Glitches. They're producing some lightweight stuff.
Yeah.
Not as much as Innova. Innova's got a incredible availability right now, but if you want the quality, I think MVP is
And why do you suppose the market's going in that direction?
Well, because there's so many newer players. There's older players, so there's players that are older and getting into the sport for the first time. And most people are waking up to the fact that you don't need everything 175 gram, especially when you're trying to get that max distance.
Yeah.
You've got to throw something lighter. It'll go farther. That's physics.
Right. Right. Well, comparing it to golf, that when the technology improved in golf, more people played. Because,
oh, wow.
Because, well, instead of getting 4 or 5 options in from a pro shop with your irons and your drivers, now all of a sudden everything's customized to what your capabilities are.
Yes. Okay.
And that, I feel like disc golf is going in that same direction, where your capabilities might not have the arm speed. So here's something lighter, and if you can learn some of the basic fundamentals, you're gonna get more enjoyment out of this, because it's gonna go further.
Yeah. Much more usable for your game.
Yeah, than something that is heavier or what have you.
Faster.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense that they're doing it for those reasons.
Yeah. Well,
but
and there's a demand for it. When I was up at Masters Worlds in Flagstaff, the ladies were out there and they said, "Where are your lightweight discs?" I was like, "Oh, I got them right here. Innova's got a lot of stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, Innova, cool. 149 gram. It's too heavy." And I go, "Too heavy? That's my lightest disc. Here's a 145. That's the lightest disc I got." She said, "Too heavy. Where's your 120s?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't seen a 129 gram disc since that destroyer I threw ages ago." And and she said, "Well, these companies need to wake up and start giving us the lightweight stuff. Everybody needs this stuff."
That's fantastic.
That's what the ladies were saying, and Innova has responded in kind.
I'm excited to now ask you about the 2 zones that I see in front of me, and what's going on there.
So this is the Zone Battle Pack. They did a Ringer top and a Banger top, Ringer GT, Banger GT top on these 2 zones. They're selling them as a pair. So this one here has the Ringer top. It's got the groove closer to the edge, super flat, super stiff. It's got the zone bottom. You know this is going to be an absolute beefy zone to throw, especially in the stiff Z plastic.
How would that compare to like an OS?
You know, it's kind of hard to say, because I wouldn't throw something like a Zone OS. I guess a lot of the pros wanted something like that, and it seems to be more of a meme than an actual usable disc. I mean, I have a lot of customers coming in here that bought one, thought they would use it, and then they just don't ever reach for it because their slammer or their zone or their pig already does that job, and they just thought they needed more when they really didn't.
Right. Right.
So it's hard to say if this is going to be as beefy as that, or just as beefy as your beefiest zone, whatever that might be, a TI or any of the Ledgestone Sparkle runs.
Okay.
Some of them are more overstable than others.
Okay.
But the really cool part about these discs, there's pros and cons to both these discs. They're not PDGA approved. One of them is going to be, which is the pro part. You get a cool little QR code like this one in your battle pack after you purchase it. You scan this and you vote on which one you want to see in production. And they're going to listen to their fan base's votes and put that disc into production and PDGA approve it.
That's really, have you ever seen that done before?
No.
With a company?
No, this is absolutely genius.
This is the first?
That's the first I've ever seen it. I don't know if it's ever been done before.
Where it's outside of the closed door meetings on what we're making.
Yeah, they put it in the hands of their customers.
Bring it to the customer. Well, and it's a popular disc too, and these are this is quite a variation from any zone I've ever felt.
Absolutely, yeah. A top like that one, it gives the big old thumb groove like the Bangers have, and I used to love the Banger because of the feel in the hand. So that zone is what I would prefer. Yeah. Even though I throw a slammer, maybe I'm biased because I want something different than the slammer in the bag, which would be that for a hand feel.
Yeah, hand feel that's very comfortable.
But I have a feeling that the Discraft fan base is going to want the Ringer top, being that Innova, Dynamic, have that thumb track on there that works really, really well for the pig and the slammer. It feels amazing, and they release and fly very, very well. I have a feeling that the Discraft fan base is going to want their slammer. They're going to want a pig.
Right.
That's the one I think that's going to get approved.
And the red one, you feel, is that versus this one that's more of an.
Yeah, it's got more of a puddle top to it, and it's a pretty wide thumb track, so it really fills your palm just about with that groove, which I love.
Yeah, so do I. A lot.
I think it feels good.
That would be my vote, actually. Because I feel like there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah, exactly.
This is more unique.
Correct.
I would want something more unique. Don't match.
A lot of these disc golf companies end up copying each other, though, at the end of the day. Oh. Everybody's got a Destroyer. Everybody makes a T-Bird. Everybody makes an AVR.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's true. That's what really impressed us all about MVP and the glitch came out. You know, that doing things that are so off center and yet being an absolute hit.
Yes.
It's a hard decision to make.
Yeah, to develop something unique that also has a niche in the bag.
Yeah.
A disc you didn't know you needed. How do you find that?
Yeah. Did you see the Gyropalooza YouTube?
I didn't see the video. I've looked through the newsletter, and I definitely should have ordered more. There's the glow glitches in there, dude. Those are gonna go crazy.
The glow glitches in there, but
no.
But those two owners, the two brothers,
yeah,
they come across as these kind of casual, oh shucks, kind of Midwest guys, right? Down to earth, humble, but they're killers.
Yep.
Those two may come across that way, but they're absolute business killers. And they're doing a great job. So kudos to them.
Yeah, you better be savvy or producing plastic like this one. I mean, this is pretty ambitious, putting a ring on the outside.
Yeah.
And they caught flack for years doing that. I know they did.
Yeah. But that's what it's going to take to take on House of Discs and where some of these companies are moving to, you know. So it's interesting. And I'm excited about, you know, I brought in some stuff to talk about contracts too. I don't know if we'll get there tonight, but
I think we can fit time.
I've had some more thought about what MVP might be thinking, and because of Simon, I've sort of I've rethought like where that might land.
Okay.
And his influence.
Yes.
And who he sees out there as someone who brings a lot of value to a company that he is now married to for the next 10 years. And that I know that's important to him, because look at how important his relationship was with
Klein and Eagle.
Yeah.
They did a lot of content together.
A lot. So I think it would probably mean a lot to Simon to build another team around him. He's obviously got a world champion there already.
And he's got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Everybody likes him.
Is he ever? And influence.
Yeah.
So I depending on what, and it looks like MVP hasn't even moved into that new warehouse they built yet, but when they do, I can't imagine what their production levels might jump to. Because they're just now, what they confessed to was that they're catching up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They've been in catch-up mode all year.
Right. They bought 10 new machines. when Conrad won the world championship, and every single disc golf course in the country dropped a $2,000, $3,000 order with them, they bought 10 new machines and said, we're not making enough. We got to start pumping out material here.
Yeah, they're killers. I wanted to bring up, if you don't mind.
Of course.
I wanted to bring up what's been happening with UDisc.
Oh, yeah, their rating system.
And their rating system. I think this is a cool
idea.
I think it's great, because everyone, since I've been a part of this sport, has shared their displeasure with the rating system. And even though I don't see that there's obviously you can see the flaws. The more you're in it, the more you see the flaws. But I think what I can contribute to this conversation for our audience is my golf background and explaining how golf handicaps have evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what UDisc is doing is closer to what golf has done than what the PDGA has done.
Really?
Yes. They're moving in more of that direction.
Do you think they took notes from what golf has done?
Well, they would be smart if they did, and I would assume some of their foundation direction started in that. It would only make sense.
Oh yeah, to do the research of what is done before you, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to really reinvent that wheel, but you do want to make it unique to the sport, because the sport is unique.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still golf at the end of the day, right? And there's still courses and there's still holes.
Yes.
So you have something that's out there to measure how they've done it successfully over here in the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't it possibly work for us? It's going to take a lot of coding. It's going to take a lot of, and that's what they seem to have.
Oh, okay.
That's what they seem to have. Really smart guys over there up in Minnesota knocking it out.
Well, geez, I thought UDisc was the best app ever created, because I used to get lost at Contecito for the first 2 years I was playing there until somebody said, hey, you know that's not the basket you're supposed to play to, right? Here's an app that shows you where to go.
Yeah, and I think wasn't that their foundation purpose, was to help you find courses,
navigate, yeah,
in your city or your town or wherever you're at, and
yeah.
then they detailed it in from there as to the courses and the holes themselves. And
that's right.
So the app
incredible
is fantastic
and getting better.
Yeah,
with the rating system,
getting better. Now they're going to do a rating system, and this rating system seems to be from like 100 or under 100 to 300 or somewhere around that. So what I'll do is I'll try and break down as simple as I can what they did in golf.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to what UDisc is now trying to do in disc golf.
Gotcha.
Okay. So in golf, when I was coming up, you had par 70, par 71, par 72 for 18 holes. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you consistently, it's a par 72, and you consistently shot 82.
Okay.
Every time you go out, I shot an 82, I shot an 82. And over a period of time, you would collect 10 or 12 scores. And the PGA would say, okay, we have enough scores now to determine what your handicap is. You're playing a par 72, you're shooting 82s, so your handicap's 10.
Yeah.
Over par, you're a plus 10. Pretty simple. And that correlated to every course you went to. The problem with that was they didn't have the technology. Once the technology caught up, Pebble Beach isn't the same as going and playing your local public course.
Right.
It's much harder.
Oh, yeah.
But they're both still par 72s. But you go to Pebble Beach and you shoot a 92. Now you're a 20 handicap. So what they did was, once the technology and once all the data was collected, they did two different things. They did a rating system and they did a sloping system. So the slope is based on, let's say, 100 A players, really good players, going out and they're shooting and they're averaging 72. Okay. So that's what par is.
Right.
And then you have your C players or your newer players, and they're all averaging 82 to 90.
Mm-hmm.
So the slope fits in between both of those.
Okay.
As to the rating, based on the number of rounds from these players and the number of rounds from these players.
Okay.
The more data that gets fed in, the more the slope will correct itself.
Sure.
So that makes perfect sense. So now you have a
yes.
slope rating. So you go into a course and it has a slope rating. The second is the rating it's maybe easier to say what the par rating is related to the actual par. So if it's a par 72, the rating may be 71.5. If you're a scratch golfer, you have to shoot 71 or better.
Okay.
Or lower. And anything above 71, or let's say it's a 70. Okay, so it's 2 shots lower than par is actually where you have to be if you're a scratch golfer. Not 72, but 70 because of the rating of the course. And now that rating is also based on tee. Are you playing the back tees? Are you playing the middle tees? Are you playing the front tees?
Right.
And each one of those ratings are different.
As they should be.
Right. And now you can break it down even further, and each one of the holes has its own rating, 1 out of 18. What's the toughest to the least toughest?
Okay.
So hole number rating 1 is the hardest hole.
Yes.
Hole 8 rating 18 is the easiest hole.
Yes. I've seen that in disc golf actually for disc coverage.
Right. So you and I go play. I'm a 0 handicap. You're a 10 handicap, as an example. I have to give you 10 strokes.
That'd be fair, I think.
Yeah. So where does those 10 strokes lie? It isn't just off the top. It's based on the whole ratings.
Okay, so
you're
that dives even more in depth than just overall score.
correct. And I'm telling this kind of detail because I think it's important if that disc golf can get there.
Oh, yeah.
So now you have,
oh, my goodness.
Right? So now you have the 10 holes we have to figure out of the 18 that are the lowest rated, that are the hardest.
Yeah.
Those are where you get your strokes from me. The other remaining holes, we play even.
So if you and I shoot par on the hardest holes, I'm taking your strokes.
Absolutely.
Because those are the hard ones.
You're winning the hole.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a stroke.
Oh, that's right, because you
those,
have the 10.
Right. I have the 0
so
handicap.
good.
You have the 10 handicap.
Right.
So the 10 hardest holes, you're going to get a stroke on each one of those.
Okay.
So you're playing them not as par 3, you're playing as par 4.
Right.
Not playing as par 4, you're playing as par 5. Not playing as par 5, you're playing as par 6.
Right.
I have to play it as the regular number for that hole. That's how golf works. That's how handicaps work.
Okay.
So
never knew that. And can I please interrupt you and ask you, what is a scratch golfer? You said it a couple of times.
It's just it's like a Heiser and an Anheuser. It's like it's
what is it unless you know?
It's someone who plays par golf.
Scratch golfer is par golfer.
Is par golfer.
Okay.
Usually. Yes, that's what it means.
Okay.
Anytime someone can play par golf, it means they're pretty darn good.
You're a talented golfer.
Yeah, you're not necessarily an expert, but you're certainly close. You're knocking on the door.
Wow, okay.
Because now golfers have gotten into where they're actually into the negatives for their handicaps.
Yeah.
-6, -7, -8.
Well, that means you're hot.
It means you
don't miss.
Well, look, if you're a 10 handicap and I'm a -9,
yeah,
you're getting all those strokes.
It's quite a lot.
And you're going to get 2 strokes on the hardest hole to make up that difference. That just goes to show you, yeah, I mean, how good some players can get. But I think it's no different in disc golf, right? Ricky Wysocki is going to be that guy.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Right.
And we're all coming in over here. We want strokes from Ricky. How do we go play disc golf fairly against Ricky?
You got to ballpark it at that point.
Right. There isn't really a system that allows us to go out and play with someone better or worse than our current handicaps,
yeah.
Our current talent. Right. So golf did the right thing by establishing these handicaps and these slope and rating systems for every course on earth.
Well, that required.
Oops, sorry. So, yeah.
How much data did that take? And how many years did it take to collect that data?
Exactly. A lot. But they got it done.
And they started somewhere.
Yes.
You got to start simple.
No different than UDisc.
That's so good.
And
I had no idea that this was that good.
Yeah. So, well, here. Now, I don't know if I've explained everything clearly enough that you understand how golf does it, but
I got it.
You feel good?
Yep.
Okay. UDisc comes along and they see that same
structure,
or they see the same sort of void is probably the word I was looking for. That
what disc golf?
If I'm going to go out and you're a much better disc golfer than I am, but I still want to play for a few bucks.
Okay.
What's the fairest way to do that? Right now, there really isn't. You're going to just say,
we'd have to do overall score, and then I'd give you some strokes, and we'd have to argue about how many strokes.
Right. Whereas golf, every hole is broken down into 1 through easiest to the hardest on every course. And it seems to me that UDisc would do well once they get over the first hump of sort of putting that slope rating on a course to putting a rating on a course based on where the tees are. With it's a par 60 disc golf course, 18 holes. The slope rating on this from the back tees is 65. It's 5 over. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Northwoods Black kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Nevin kind of thing.
Okay.
It's going to be above par from these back tees because it's that hard. And it does. Golf has the same thing. There are some that are over par because they're just ridiculous, right? You have to bomb everything 300 off the tee to carry some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Very difficult. And it usually always comes back to length too, by the way. It isn't so much the difficulty if it's a shorter hole. There's always there's always ways to get a disc to the basket, right?
Yeah.
But if it's longer, there isn't a way to make your arm throw a disc if you can't throw a disc that far.
Yeah, 600 feet is
Right.
pretty unobtainable for most of us.
So it seems to me that UDisc needs to get to that area where they can slope rate every course. They can put a rating on every course for the tees, for the back tees and the front tees. Let's just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then you and I start establishing a handicap. And then based on what the hole ratings are, this is the easiest hole, the tough. Now they're already going to have that data on UDisc. They're going to see what holes are birdied the most. They're going to see what holes are birdied the
That's
least.
true. So they've got them rated 1 through 18 already.
It's just going to be a matter of time before they can get the manpower to start pulling that data out, which makes a lot of sense to me. And then you and I can go to a course and say 1, 4, 7, 8, and then 11, 12, and 15 I get shots on because those are the hardest holes, and your handicap is 6 lower than mine.
Yeah.
Now, game on.
All right.
Right? So disc golf, I think, can get there with the leadership of UDisc and what they're trying to achieve.
That's brilliant.
And I hope they're really looking at what golf did in that respect, because I think it'll help make this game even so much more enjoyable. And the other aspect of this, okay, your PDGA rating only counts if you're playing in a certified league or a tournament.
That's right.
Right? Certified tournament.
It's got to be sanctioned.
Sanctioned. What's it? Certified, sanctioned.
Same thing.
So, okay. So sanctioned event, you may play a few of them a year. If you're lucky, you play a lot more. Okay?
Yeah, it depends on what you got time or money for.
Exactly. Now, leagues are fun to play in, but you don't always get there every week.
Yep.
So let's say they're 10 weeks long, you may get to half of them. So you better hope you play well in those half that you get to, because it's going to affect your rating.
Yep.
And
not as much as a tournament. Usually the C tier, B tier, A tiers, you stack a lot more points towards your rating, where leagues are worth a lot less points.
Right. And this is where UDisc and what they're doing could make all of that obsolete. Like, for example, the weather has a rating sort of built into the current PDGA.
Yeah, they factor in the local weather for wind, rain, everything.
What happens if I play in the morning and it rains like crazy, and the group behind us 2 hours later doesn't have any of it?
It's factored in.
It's factored in.
It is factored in. Because they, like I said, they keep track of the local weather per the time of day.
Well, if they want to get to that sort of nitty gritty, that's great. But what happens if it rains for 3 holes on me and it doesn't rain on anyone else? Are they going to actually see that for those 3 holes?
I guess it depends.
That came incredibly hard because that front just came through, this little cell came through.
Right.
And now there's a 25-mile-an-hour wind, but it just went away in 3 holes. So that's where I think some of that has flaws.
Yeah.
Instead of just having a slope and a rating system, and you play against that. Now, you and I go out and we have a UDisc round. Now, I think it should be more than one person. I think it should be 2 people minimum for your round to count towards your handicap.
Okay.
Then it's, in a way, it's sort of verified.
It keeps you honest.
Keeps you honest. Because how often do we all like to throw the extra shot? How often do we all like to throw the extra putt? A lot.
Or even not count your spit out that you just have and just give it to yourself as a par.
Or even pick up. And golf is no different. But when you're playing in men's club events and other things, you got to putt everything out. And that legitimizes your score, which you go in at the end of the day, if you're golfing, and you put it, your handicap, oh yeah, I just shot a 71 today. So there it is, you put it in. And it's legitimized because you played in whatever men's club event that day. Okay, so it's legitimized. Or even if you're out with your wife or the boys and you're playing, you come in, you put your handicap, you put your score in. You tally your score. Assuming you putted out, assuming you didn't hit 3 shots on a hole and you played the best one.
Right.
Which
pick your best drive.
Yeah. So as long as the round's legit, then the handicap will be legit. And the same will go for disc golf. So now we don't have to play in these sanctioned events. You and I can go out and play on UDisc and I can keep working on my game, and it counts towards my handicap. That to me makes a whole lot more sense, and fairness wise too, going into tournaments.
Yeah.
Because it's calculating, maybe I don't play a tournament for a month, but I played every day. I'm going to be a lot better than whatever this rating is here going into this tournament. That's a huge advantage, and that's nice. Hey, that's great. But wouldn't it be better if the person you're playing against is logging in all this stuff
More
and
data.
maybe shouldn't be an MA3, maybe should be an MA2, or maybe MA1, or the same with MP?
Yeah, that would definitely keep people in their place.
A little bit more honest.
Yes.
Right.
Instead of they call it sandbagging when you drop down a division to
Right.
win it.
And it could work the other way. There are people that do that to collect money. So, but there could be more of a value placed on what tournaments are in terms of your handicap than playing with you and I.
Yeah.
So that value then keeps you more honest as to what you really, because tournaments typically are harder.
Yes.
The structure is harder, the pressure is harder, there's usually OB everywhere.
Yep.
That might not be normal play, that type of thing.
You got to focus in on all of the rules.
Right.
Your lies, out of bounds, everything.
So I just wanted to kind of brush over that a little bit, because I think people will hopefully find that interesting. Well,
it's a fairly new feature too. So a lot of people are confused about what the heck is this thing? Because a lot of people are posting on Facebook their round rating, and they said, is this good?
Yeah.
I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
So there will, of course, come education with it, and the more data that we put in there, the better. So everybody needs to start using UDisc, and let's start building the data for all of our home courses.
Yep. Yeah, I think they're on the right track, and it could revolutionize the way it did for golf. So you want to talk about etiquette? Etiquette,
yeah. I think that's something that a lot of disc golfers don't actually know exists. I think that's something that we need more education to really inject into the disc golf community. Something that I think is the most important piece of etiquette is if you're farthest away from the basket, you throw first. So I see a lot of groups approaching the discs, and a lot of them get to their lie, and they kind of look at each other, waiting for each other to throw, instead of realizing that you're the one that's out. So that's the most important piece of etiquette to me.
Yeah.
Another piece of etiquette, and maybe this is just because I play Conocido a lot, is the highest hole takes priority. So if you're on hole 5 and someone's throwing hole 14, you have to let them throw before you.
So our listening audience understands, and viewing audience, there's 9 baskets with 18 tee boxes.
Yes, so they're all shared.
So they're sharing, yeah. In that case, the higher hole number has priority over the lower hole number when they're finishing the hole.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's really going to help speed of play. To focus on, if you're farthest out, you throw first, and then higher hole takes priority. Really keeps the pace of play moving for the whole course.
Right.
So we all finish in a timely manner.
Right. That's good.
Yeah. I don't think that's something in golf that doesn't exactly exist, the higher hole.
No.
It's more so get out of the way if you're in the way.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, what else is different in golf is that the peripheral vision, you can't stand, if someone's shooting towards the camera, my peripheral vision's there, my peripheral vision's here. So you can't be anywhere here. I don't care if you're here, because I really can't see.
Yeah, your head's down. Sure, down. That makes sense.
But I can see this. So never stand, you can stand behind someone, but never stand to that side of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, in disc golf, you're facing this, but your field of view is so much wider.
Yeah.
So it's, people stand back more than what they do in golf. Golf, it's almost a ready hit. So who's ever furthest from the hole hits first, just like in disc golf, throws next. But the next person's already ready to hit.
They're at their lie.
They're at the ball. They've already probably picked their shot. They've already probably visioned their shot. As soon as that person hits, they're ready to go. It's their turn.
That's brilliant.
That's where it separates from disc golf, where I see disc golf, everyone sort of groups behind the person who's furthest out and then sort of moves around to whoever's next and next and next. And it's in an etiquette, I think, frame of mind. But the problem is it really slows play down.
Well, and you don't necessarily need to be behind that person either. You could go to your lie. You're not always in the way, are you? Or in the same exact spot.
Well, that's my question to you and to maybe the audience is that what is the proper, because even watching pros play, they never ever get in someone's sight.
Yes.
They're very good at that. But yet it never seems like we're waiting on them to get to their shot to throw it. Like it seems like they've already sort of worked out where they are, what they're going to do, and they get there, they drop their bag, and
yep,
up they go.
Right. Well, for me, I play with more of a golf mindset. I like to get to my lie, see my shot, see the ground, and understand what I'm going to do.
So is that still good etiquette, even if someone might see you? Or like, for instance, the basket's there, and you're there, even though you're maybe 20 feet over that way, just off the fairway, and I'm in the middle of the fairway.
Well, I guess it depends on how close you are. If 20 feet is too close for you, then I would expect you to say, hey, man, could you just give me a little space so I don't see you in my vision?
Because I feel it should be that way too. I feel like you should go to your shot as long as you're not impeding on the person who's furthest away,
of course,
from doing what they need to do. Right.
Yeah, it just helps speed of play. I don't really
don't
want to
move
be out
around.
There for
don't be
3 hours.
fidgeting. Don't be
rubbing your feet on the ground.
Right.
Kicking rocks.
Stand still, but closer to your shot. Yeah. I see that as.
That way we can all move forward.
Yeah, that definitely has to happen. And keeping up with pace of play.
Right. That's something we see at a lot of golf courses, disc golf courses, are people kind of herd about and they mill about a lot more than they need to.
Yeah. Yeah, they're out there because maybe they get that one day. But then if that's the case, then if someone comes up behind you, what I find is that people don't let other people through. And in golf,
that's tough.
In golf, it is proper etiquette. If someone gets up on you like that, you want to enjoy your day. You don't want someone pushing you like that.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead. And when I've done that in a non-tournament, I usually don't even play that hole. I'll go that much further in front of them to not, thank you. I'll go around you. I'm not going to make you wait on me now.
Yeah.
So I'll go that much further ahead. I just come back and play the hole afterwards or just write it off. Because I'm just trying to get 18 in a late 18 or something like that.
Sure.
Doesn't mean anything. But I don't want to have to wait for someone, and they realize that. And I don't want to put them out for the courtesy. So I feel in disc golf, I've come up on so many groups.
Yes.
That just meander, and they don't acknowledge the fact that I'm there.
Yeah, you're riding their ass basically the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I go through? Because I'd really like to play this hole. I don't want to skip it.
A lot of times I'll ask if I can throw up, like as they're throwing off, like, hey, can I throw up there with you guys and then pass you on maybe on the next hole?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are, and it kind of clicks in their head, like, oh yeah, go ahead, man. Okay. It's like they don't think of it.
Yeah.
That comes down to etiquette when you don't really think of you're around here or playing with other people, kind of sharing the course.
So those are a couple of the things that I see as in etiquette that I've recognized too.
Yeah, we definitely need to inject some education, I think.
Yeah.
Into the sport with that.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, it's important because look, people.
Well, we're on a schedule.
We want more people involved in this game, and there's going to be more people out on the course.
Yeah, which we all have to share.
Until we get more courses built.
Right.
So it's important that people understand etiquette. So I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's important to bring it up. I think when Brody speaks about it, people get on him for being sort of on the edge with that stuff, but I think he's right on and almost all of it.
Yeah, I appreciate his takes, especially when he asks the question of like, why is this card 4 holes behind the card in front of them?
Yeah.
What is going on? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy listening to Brody Smith, who we're talking about.
Yep.
I think his takes are good takes. He works hard, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
It's not just
he gets the content done and up on our visual platforms before anybody. So we get to see the course before Jomez has coverage or DGN has coverage.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
And I think that Tour Life might be one of the best.
It's a great podcast.
It's a great podcast. I really, really enjoy listening to those guys. But I like his edginess. And it's not necessarily edginess. He's just saying it like it is. But a lot of times there isn't, people don't have the guts to talk like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I thought he came from a background of trick shots and stuff like that. I had no idea he was such a tremendous athlete.
Oh yeah, right.
I actually saw some footage of him playing what's it called? Ultimate Frisbee.
Yep.
And that Ultimate Frisbee is it's enjoyable to watch.
You're running.
They're running.
Yeah, dude.
And he's catching, he's throwing. It's I was very impressed by what an athlete he actually is. That is a top level athlete, which then makes it actually easier for me to understand how we went from learning the game a few years ago to being on the tour.
Right.
And having such a high rating and yeah, throwing it so far, now it all makes sense. He's a heck of an athlete.
Yeah, you can't call it an easy translation because you're throwing a Frisbee to a disc. I mean, they are still heavy, those Frisbees. I just learned that. Some of them are 170, 180 grams.
Yeah. Yeah, the way he flicked it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty impressive from all kinds of angles, too.
Good form.
Excellent form. But, you could have played football. You could have seen, he could have played a lot of sports. He would have been a heck of a hockey player, too.
For sure.
With
that
that
like a hockey player, actually.
Yeah, he does. He would have been a great defenseman, I think. He would have been a mean son of a gun. I can tell. He really would have been. This is amazing where you grow up could determine what sports really matter to you, right? And what you get involved in.
Yeah.
If he was in Canada, Brody, you would have been a good hockey player.
Yep.
Could tell.
Alabama, he would have been a football player.
Probably. Well, he was in Florida, right? Isn't that where he went to school?
Doesn't surprise me.
I wanted to give a shout out real quick to the Distinguished Doodle. They're local. They've been helping out the disc golf community for the last year. So I know that some of the tour dogs are enjoying it.
That's right.
And I saw a shout out today from Garrett Gerthy that his dogs are on it. And I know Luke Humphreys, the good boy, the goodest boy.
Hogan. The goodest boy.
The famous dog that is. So
I've been a big fan of their products as well. So this episode brought to you by the Distinguished Doodle.
Yeah, thank you.
The balm has been stellar. The nose and paw balm. I've really enjoyed that. I can see the redness dissipate. My dog has really, really bad allergies, so his paws and his nose gets really, really bad in certain seasons of the year. And so the balm, I was impressed that overnight it seemed to already have a huge effect.
Calm it down.
Really? Yeah. Really well done. Really well engineered stuff. So big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, they're doing great stuff there. They're some of the best products, if not the best products right now for dog care that no one knows about, just like disc golf. The best sport no one knows about. So it's a perfect fit.
Support the guys that support disc golf.
Absolutely. Please do that. It's so important. But yeah, I don't know if we've talked about those two discs up front. I'm assuming we did.
The battle packs? You mentioned they made it on.
Yeah. So before we get to what this week's giveaway is.
Yeah, we should probably give these discs away.
This was episode, I think, 1.
I believe so too.
The judge. So we have a winner.
Yep. The winner for this particular disc is Pez Nepin Thez. I've practiced saying that. That's the best I got. I'm sorry, man. You'll be receiving a message from us. I shouldn't apologize. You're getting a disc.
There you go. Nice disc too. It's beautiful. I know it's pretty rare too. This in this plastic.
Can't get those everywhere.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. It feels great in the hand.
Yep. Be expecting a message from us. Thanks for participating.
And the glitch.
The glitch winner is Will Mercer 525.
Congrats, Will.
Much
Mercer.
Easier name to say.
A glitch. Everyone should have a glitch. Great product.
Yep. Thanks for jumping in.
The Escape was the last episode, so we'll be giving that away next episode. And then this week's giveaway.
This week is very, very exciting giveaway. We're going to be giving away a Zone Battle Pack.
Wow.
And you will be getting a free chance at your vote to see which disc gets into production. Regular production. A free battle pack. So, in order to participate in this giveaway, you need to like the post, follow the page, and tag 2 friends.
Got it.
And that'll be eligible to win a Discraft Battle Pack.
And these aren't even available to the public until Friday. So
correct.
We should have this out by Friday. So they're going to be right on the
right on the front edge of
right
it.
on the front edge of winning something that's just coming out to the public. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so if
Well, thank you for that. That's very generous.
should be a sweet giveaway, I think.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
So attention deficit disorder on Instagram, attention_deficit_disc order.
Get you there.
Jump in.
Well, I could sit and probably talk about 10 other things, but we'll call it a day.
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks, man. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Appreciate your support.
Have a great week.
Does he have a name yet? She, he?
I was thinking Dusty or
Dusty. That's a good one. Good
Is
one
it?
off the bat. I like Dusty. Dusty
Yeah.
the squirrel?
because it's dusty in Arizona.
Yeah.
Dusty seems to
Kind of looks like a Dusty. The flat face.
kind of fits, doesn't it?
Yeah.